Hello, you lovely listeners. Welcome to a very special episode of I See Bad Movies. Today's episode is a little bit different. Unfortunately, Emma's been too unwell for us to get together and record the very last episode of season 5 of I See Bad Movies, where we've been looking at body parts gone bad. It is unfortunately the price you pay when you have two kids of primary school age and stuff just gets passed backwards and forwards. So what we thought we'd do is in a really special moment, I'm sure you're going to love this, is to actually release the very first episode of
The Flip Side.
Clearly that was just perfectly edited in because Emma isn't here, although it sounds like she is. What's that, Emma? Keep telling the audience that you're not here. Okay, I will. If you don't know what The Flip Side is, it's our bonus episode that we release 1 week after the main episode, which is us looking at the flip side of the movie for that episode. Instead of looking at the bad, we'll look at the good, or vice versa. Today, we'd like you to sit back, relax, and enjoy
The Flip Side
of The Ghosts of Borley Rectory. Hello!
Hello.
And welcome to bonus episode number 1. Wow, here we are.
The first of many.
Well, thank you so much. If you're listening to this, that means you've...
Thanks for coming back for more.
Yeah, come back for more, you fools, you damn fools. So the idea of the bonus episodes is we're going to expand on the actual episode, where we will talk about the opposite side.
We're going to flip it. We're going to flip it.
We're going to flip it. Oh, I love it. Oh, put that on a t-shirt. We're going to flip it, reverse it, bap it. No, maybe not that. So we have previously talked about the good points of...
It was hard. It was difficult, but we got through it.
Yeah, it was really difficult, wasn't it?
This might be a lot easier, I think.
Yeah. So the ghosts of Borley Rectory, or boring Rectory, honestly, wasn't it? Yeah. As you know, our categories, Emma, were best line, best stunts, best scene, best hair and makeup, and best actress. Yeah. But now, dear listener, we get to talk about the worst of them all.
There's a lot of it.
There is a lot of it. Just like in the main episode, the stunts, there weren't any really.
There was one stunt, if you can loosely call it
Oh,
a stunt,
go on.
and that
Well,
was the one
the Matrix
about.
one,
So
yeah.
that was it. That was the closest we came to a stunt.
And it was neither a good nor bad stunt. It was just movement.
The
Yeah.
closest thing we could get to a stunt.
I know Roger got hit by Helen got hit by a book. But again, it's not... Yes.
We hate Helen.
Oh, the
That's
poor...
what we should get on a t-shirt. We hate Helen.
We hate Helen. Oh, God, yeah. Poor Helen. No, not poor Helen. Damn Helen to hell. Yeah, she got hit by a book. But again, it wasn't really a stunt. It was just a flying book.
Yeah.
Thrown by... Quite possibly not even in the script. Just by someone on the set.
Getting annoyed with her.
Really disliked Helen and threw a book. And they thought, well, that actually looked quite good. We'll keep it in. Yeah. So stunts, in terms of good in the main episode, were a letdown, and bad stunts, complete letdown. Okay.
I think if this was a form, we'd just put NA, wouldn't we, for stunts?
Yeah, NA. Stunts, absolutely. But we've still managed to talk about it a lot, which is interesting. So we're going to move on. So let's just start at the top of our list here. And looking at the worst lines. So please bear with us, because we've watched the movie, then we've recorded the main episode, and now we're talking about the opposite side after a while. So we may have to remind ourselves of the worst lines here. So thankfully I've written them down. I know, I've taken notes. I'm not normally a note taker, but I have taken
I made dinner,
notes.
so let's just not get into that little argument.
Okay. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. As long as I don't have to do the dishes, I'll be in the car and gone before any of that happens. Alright, so, worst lines. Now, I'm going to take you back, Emma, to the meeting that they have around the table early on. You've got priests, you've got landowners, you've got Doctor Who, etc. And Marianne says something, and we had mentioned this in the main episode as well. And Marianne says something that really did not scream of 1930s Britain. She said, "'Tis why we're here."
Oh yes, she did go a bit Shakespearean, didn't she, for a second?
The "'tis" was a little bit jarring. I thought it wasn't.
But like we said earlier, nothing fitted with a 1930s theme, did it? The costumes, the scenery, the way they were talking, none of it.
No. None of it
screamed 1930s. So
yeah, it was pretty poor. Yeah, and the line wasn't good either. Yeah, Marianne, and it was the only time anyone said the word "'tis," and I just couldn't stop focusing on how out of place it felt.
Yeah, if you're going to throw things like that in there, then throw them in there. But it was a one-off.
Yeah, and really pulled you away from the. Well, it pulled us away from this. Anything could pull you away from the scene.
Film.
It was really, really awful. That whole scene was just full of
boring. It was boring. That scene. It was just they were sat around a table having a chat. Then there was a pantomime bit where she's behind you.
Yeah.
and the guy was turning around going, "Where?"
Yeah, that was.
No, she isn't.
That was quite hilarious. Yeah, I did expect someone to say, "Oh no, she isn't" at some point.
It was. Yeah, that was the worst.
It was pretty bad. But was it the worst line? Because, as we alluded to in the main episode, Helen does throw in a bit of a corker during the first seance. The "I sense it too."
Yes.
And,
Helen!
God damn you, Helen! Honestly. And the one thing I will say is, though, it's probably, for Helen, was the best line she delivered.
By the way, if you are the actress that plays Helen listening to this, it's all jokes.
None of it is meant. Honest. Emma, uncross your fingers. But I would say I think it was the best line she delivered, because it did really. I mean, I'm guessing this is what they went going with for the character. She was just kind of so eager to prove herself that she was like, "Oh, I can sense it too." Almost like, no, you really can. Yeah. You're just saying this. But I don't know if that's what they meant, because later in the film, she hosts the second seance.
Oh yes, she does.
So was that them
she's
saying?
She's giving all the instructions and she's leading it, isn't she?
So was that them saying, "Oh, actually, Helen is force sensitive" or something? I don't know. I know. It was a bit of a painful line, wasn't it? But then a painful Helen. God damn Helen.
Helen. sorry, Helen. Love you.
and it leads us on, because this is still in the same scene as well. This leads us on because Toya Wilcox goes on about how it's an oppressive thing, and we said in the main episode that she said her entity is all consuming as well, but there was another one that she said which was just so like deadpan, and not intentionally deadpan, but what about this one? It's the negative energy. It's trying to strangle me. I mean, God, what was that all about?
But that next one, that was my favourite worst.
Oh, yes, this was amazing. That was really good. Go on. There. Oh, yeah. Our intrepid farmer
says, "My animals are scared. Now I'm scared." And that was about as good as his accent was. Actually, mine was probably better.
Yours was, it was probably better, but yeah.
I'm not even an actress.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I think Helen could take some pointers from you. Well, that's it. You come to the bonus episodes, you get the accents.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
This is where the good stuff is.
Be still your beating hearts, listeners. I know. That was pretty poor. But again, that was it.
Yeah. we didn't have a lot. Well, you could argue that all the lines were bad.
Yeah.
But to pick one out, that made it more difficult because they're all terrible.
I 100% agree with you. A lot of the lines were dreadful, but none of them memorable.
That's the thing, isn't it? It wasn't memorable. There was nothing that jumped out at you. Whereas again, I think we've watched films where there's, on all these categories that we've got, we could pick things out that do stick in our minds because they're either just ridiculous or funny or. But yeah, I think we've saved you all a bit of time here by not watching this film.
An hour and 20 minutes we've saved you watching the film, and about an hour typing in the name of the film into the search bar to find it as well. They were definitely, I think, the memorable worst lines. 100%. Definitely the memorable worst lines. If you do end up watching this movie and you find any worst lines at all, please do let us know, because we won't remember them.
And if you do watch it, don't blame us, we've warned you.
Yeah, 100%. There is no comeback here.
I'll do this for you.
Alright, so let's move on to the worst scenes. Is there a particular worst scene that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, the worst scene is the one we just talked about, where they're all around the table and they're doing the pantomime bit of "she's behind you." That was just really boring, that scene. They're all having a chat on the table. It's pretty pointless. Again, there is randomly just plates with a few crumbs on them. They pop up throughout the film, don't they? So they won't be eating, and then all of a sudden there'll be a plate with crumbs on it.
Yeah.
Which happened in the second séance. They weren't eating, and there was just a plate of crumbs.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just all sat around. They've obviously had some sort of meal, and then they're chatting. Nothing's really said though of any sort of importance.
Yeah. There's nothing, is there?
The farmer's worried about his animals. His animals won't sleep at that end of the field. Everyone else is just discussing what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden she's behind you. But the guy who's investigating Harry can't see her, can he? And neither can
That's
Mark.
Right. No one can. They can't
Who is
see
it that says she's behind you then? Who?
That's Marianne that says,
Marianne.
yeah, she says she's with us now, and Harry says, where is she? And then it's behind you moment. Yeah. I thought they were going to kind of make that maybe a jump scare or something.
No.
And they didn't.
She just appeared and she looked normal, didn't she? She didn't look scary or creepy. She was just in a nun's outfit. Yeah.
Just in kind of soft focus in the background. Yeah. No one really, you're right, no one really did anything in that scene other than, like, they talked about what are these, well, what are you going to do in this investigation that wasn't covered in the initial investigation that happened? And he said, there's some, this is what he said, he's like, there's some new untested experiments that we're going to bring out and do, and we're really interested to see the results of those. They've been tested in the lab, but not in those
untested tested.
Wait, what lab? It was just a lot of kind of nothing being said, but saying a lot.
Yeah, a long scene for nothing to have been really said.
Yeah.
And also, one thing we didn't talk about in the main episode was there was a lot of scenes where they did try and sort of make you jump, and it was meant to be scary, or someone got killed, and then they woke up and it was a dream. And it just made me think of when you're a child at school and they make you write a story and you don't know how to end the story, so you just go, and it was all a dream. And that happened several times throughout, didn't it? And one time she has a dream within a dream as well. They're really clutching at straws there. Oh
my god. Yeah, it happens like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
But the one that took the biscuit was Helen's dream within a dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was just, I feel like that was just filling time. Like, what can we do to fill a bit more? But
again, was that, I mean, and not knowing the actual story and anything that's been reported about Borley Rectory, was that maybe like an actual bit of evidence that they'd written down, on the one sheet of paper that they filled out?
Well, it was just mass hysteria, wasn't it? So it could have been anything.
So yeah, but did they stick to that? It's like, was there a Helen character in for real? And did she report
like we need to
a
either
dream?
Research this, or if any of our listeners know this story, they can tell us.
Fill us in,
and
please.
Save us the research, because we've already spent an hour and a half of our lives watching this film.
Yeah. The only good thing about it was the dinner I had beforehand.
Thank you very much.
Just keep piling in mascarpone. I'm a happy man. All right.
I'd just like to clear that up. We didn't just have a bowl of mascarpone.
Although I wouldn't have minded.
There was some pasta and other ingredients involved.
Now, okay, that scene, the discussion around the table, was pretty awful. Now,
oh no, we've got the other scene though, haven't we?
Yeah.
Helen?
Oh, you want to go into Helen now, because we can save Helen for a second.
Oh, okay, let's save
Because
her.
what I'd like to talk about is Roger's sandwich scene.
Oh yes, okay.
Which was very interesting. Now, I'm going to put a question to you, Emma.
Okay.
When was the last time that you woke up and was so hungry that you smacked your lips a few times?
Well, I'll just tell you this. I always leave a sandwich by the bed.
Oh.
Just in case, because you never know when you're going to wake up hungry, and the kitchen's a long way to go.
So you've got something in common with Roger.
Yes.
Roger clearly keeps a sandwich next to him. Maybe that's where the plates come from. It's always it's always Roger's sandwich.
Sandwiches. Roger.
God damn you,
Roger.
Roger.
Takes back to the kitchen. It's like a teenage boy.
Oh, what do you think? The fairy just comes and puts it in the dishwasher, do you? But the fairy does turn up in the shape of the nun.
Yeah, but she doesn't put the plates away, does she?
No, she doesn't put the plates away at all.
She scares Roger a lot.
Yeah. Oh, she really does pick on Roger.
Yeah.
Because
so
he's the weakest of them.
Oh, sorry. You were explaining that he wakes up and then...
He smacks his lips a little bit and then he leans over for a sandwich. But unbeknownst to Roger, before this has happened, the nun has come along. Well, we don't see the nun. We see the nun's hand.
A bendy finger. She's got a really bendy index finger, which is weird.
So most people are probably going to be aware of, like, you know, Marvel movies and the Scarlet Witch, right? Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth, what's her name? And she does this kind of weird thing with her fingers to make her look like, you know, she's casting spells, etc. And this is what the nun was doing with her fingers.
Yeah.
I mean, she was doing this really weird thing, and then she wafted them over Roger's sandwich. And then just moved her hands away. And we had no idea.
Did you say she touched
she tapped him on the head to wake him. Yes.
Oh.
She tapped him on the head and he wakes up. And that's when he starts smacking his lips and reaches for his sandwich. But, I mean, I at first thought she was going to steal his sandwich, you know, just to be like, ha ha ha, Roger. And he'd wake up going, I'm really hungry. Oh no, my sandwich is gone. It must have been a ghost. But no. You don't really see what she does. She just waves her hands. But then Roger wakes up, smacks his lips, reaches for his sandwich, and it's covered in maggots.
But he doesn't feel the maggots or see the maggots when he picks it up.
No. My second question to you, Emma. So we've established that you've woken up. You always keep a sandwich by the side of your bed.
Of course, you don't.
I am now.
Just make sure it's wrapped though, because Roger's sandwich wasn't wrapped and it will go stale.
It will go stale. It will go very stale and maggoty. So when you wake up and you reach out for your sandwich, do you never look at it before you put it in your mouth?
It depends how hungry I am. I mean, if we're talking middle of the night, then I'm going to just put that in my mouth.
Yeah, I think Roger was definitely hungry for sandwich at that point.
I mean, you saw how hungry he was. Look at the way he was smacking his lips together.
I mean, it was like proper. You know, if you ever watched. I would just like to apologise to anyone wearing headphones. That's the $10 tier on Patreon will just be ASMR of Roger's sandwich eating. All right. So he just puts it in his mouth and he realises it's maggoty and he spits it out and that was it. It was dreadful because Roger, bless his soul, was trying to act so hard, wasn't he?
I think they were all trying to act. I think Helen was trying the hardest, although Harry had some very questionable faces that he was putting.
Yeah.
And Harry looked like every time he said a line, he looked like he was so proud of himself and so smug that I remembered my line. Well, I did that really well. It was just bizarre. Like he just, almost like he was so proud of himself that he'd delivered the line.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was a character trait at first.
Yeah.
I thought he was, because clearly he was an arsonist. He was mastermind of, faking this whole thing. That in my mind, according to sources that we know, the whole story of Borley Rectory has been completely debunked. So I going into this film with that knowledge, I thought, are they kind of making it seem like he's a mastermind of it all and so on. So that's what I thought they were doing, a little bit of character work with him, being like, oh, I'm being so clever, I'm actually manipulating all of you into thinking a ghost.
Any character work.
But it very quickly realised, no, they're not doing any, that's just like you said. Yeah, and I like what you said. Like he was just pleased that he got the line out. Yeah. He was like, look at me, gold star for me, because his lines were really boring and just, not a lot.
Smug.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it was like, what exactly are you smug about?
Yeah, you managed to say some really boring lines that I think actually any actor would have difficulty learning, because there wasn't really much to it other than just really dry text. It was pretty dry. But yeah, Roger's sandwich scene definitely was pretty awful, because bless him, he tried to act so hard, but was just so over the top with it. The mouth smacking really took the biscuit for me, or the sandwich. Yeah. I mean, it's as tough as a biscuit after he left it out, falling asleep for so long. Who knows? But yeah, very, very finally, I know you were raring to talk about Helen. And I know we did kind of mention this a little bit in the main episode as well, but Helen's walk through the woods.
Are we calling it a walk? She forgot how to walk.
She really did.
It was like when someone says to you, "Act natural."
Yeah.
And then you forget how to do everything. It was like that, wasn't it? It was just.
It was. The hands by the side, they were kind of lifted, and it was like a kind of a marionette puppet, like a puppet just kind of being moved along. Yeah. And you're right, I just completely forgot how to move.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Very, very interesting, shall we say.
I think that's the point when we realised we didn't like Helen.
Yeah.
Because after that, everything she did just annoyed me.
Yeah. And it was the walk. It was like...
Yeah, I think that was the turning point.
Yeah, 100% the turning point for us. And from that point onwards, just the sheer vitriol. I've never seen such anger in anyone's eyes, Emma, as you looking at Helen.
She had one face that she pulled all the way through. Whatever happened, they shoot to her, and she was put in the same face.
Yep, there was. I can't remember what scene it was. I don't think it was a séance scene, but they cut to. Oh, that's right. Harry Price was talking about his first supernatural encounter, and he said something like, "And the old lady had burned to death in my room." And
yes,
everyone looked shocked, and Helen, she was looking to the right, and it cut to her, and then she just looked to the left, and then back to the right. And I mean, you didn't see that, but I did it perfectly there. And it was just like, I have to look shocked. I know how to do that. I'll look in a different direction and then look back where I was looking originally. Oh my God, someone give her an Oscar.
But also, when Harry said that line, he looked like a naughty schoolboy that had been caught out, didn't he? He did this really weird little I don't know, just like when a kid's been naughty and they know they've been naughty. That's what his face was like, for no reason at all.
I have that face a lot. That's, yes, school children. It's a school child's face, and certainly not me as a fully grown man pulls that face a lot at all. So yeah, so those are our scenes. They were pretty bad. They were pretty bad. But again, just like the lines, not one scene really was good, particularly good, apart from maybe the seance scene and the setup montage, but that was still awful, really. It was just good because it was funny.
But we're talking about bad stuff.
But yeah, they were all the scenes were bad, but those were just memorably bad.
Yeah.
You know, every scene was really badly shot, really poorly done. Let's now pick on Helen a little bit more. We're going to have a little look at hair and makeup. So we are kind of flying through this again, but hair and makeup. So we know not a lot of it was very period.
No, I mean, they hadn't done... Hair and makeup was... Yeah, it wasn't that era, was it, at all?
No.
And Helen's hair... Well, first of all, you couldn't work out if it was her real hair or a wig.
Yeah.
Then later on, she looked like she was going bald at the top, and then they'd kind of curled it, but it wasn't really curly and it wasn't straight. It was kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an odd hairstyle.
And sure enough, as soon as she walked in, we both went, well, that doesn't look very 1930s.
Yeah.
Straight away. And again, that was
down,
within
wasn't it?
the first 3 minutes of the film.
Yeah, I'd expect it to be up with some like big rolls in it, and they used to roll their hair, didn't they? Like,
that's right.
Yeah, it just wasn't at all. It wasn't. But none of her, like I said earlier, none of the costumes, nothing really screamed 1930s. So yeah, hair and makeup. And it's really hard in this one because I don't think there was a lot of time spent on hair and makeup anyway.
No, there wasn't. No, there really wasn't. And you're right. You know, I mean, yeah, women, more than likely would have worn their hair down at some point in the 1930s. That's fine. I get that.
But the iconic pictures that
exactly
you see are...
If you were going to film a scene in the 1930s or write a movie in the 1930s, you're going to go with what people expect to see. So yeah, again, within the first few minutes, that was like the first black mark against Helen, and then the walk, and then it all just went downhill for her, didn't it? At that point. But that's nitpicky though.
We've kind of got to be nitpicky on this
we
film
do,
because it's not given us much to work with.
That's a fair point. That is a very fair point. However, and again, this might seem like a bit of a stretch. Because is this hair and makeup? Is it special effects? I'd like you, if you're listening, to let us know what you think. Is this a special effect or is it hair and makeup? So later in the scene, in one of these scenes that's a dream, Harry sees what is actually the true evil entity. And it's not a nun. It's like a demon. A demon with yellow skin and black horns. And he turns around and we get a full face of the demon. Because it was like in a mirror that we were seeing it first of all, covered in blood. So you didn't get a very good view of it. Then he turns around and it's a like, as you said, it was a Halloween mask.
Yeah, it was just a kid's Halloween mask. It wasn't it wasn't really special effects. It wasn't like...
It's not hair and makeup. It's not special effects, and I don't know where it sits. Costume maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, you would have makeup if that was done properly. Like the Grinch, for instance, when Jim Carrey did the Grinch, he sat in makeup for 8 hours every day, and they did the prosthetics and they did all of the fur and all of that. That is makeup. That's the makeup department to do that. But this wasn't. This was literally a kid's Halloween mask, I think.
Yeah, and it was really awful. But it's the sort of thing that happens to horror movies, isn't it? All the time. You get this reveal of the big bad or something, and it just, this movie doesn't really drag you into the scene anyway. And these sorts of things drag you out of the scenes entirely when you see the awful, crappy monster, whether it's a CGI monster or a crap mask or something. And this was just a yellow mask with black horns, and it just looked like PVC. I know you're leaning more towards it being makeup, and I'm not sure. Normally it would be makeup. Okay,
because this was a mask, it's probably costume rather than makeup.
It's not really applied, and maybe if you freeze framed it, you could maybe see that it was somehow attached to look like it moved as well, rather than just a mask, but I don't recall seeing the mouth move when the actress who had the mask on talked. I don't recall seeing any of that. I didn't really see much to it that made it seem like they tried to make it look somehow real.
I don't think they did try
on
this film at all.
It's kind of the underlying feeling of it all, isn't it? Yeah. Someone
and the lesson is never try.
And yeah, they took that lesson to heart. They really did. So yeah, I mean, that's hair and makeup. Again, nothing really stood out for it, but at least we had the mask to talk about and Helen to pick on.
Helen.
At some point I'll feel bad, but not today. Oh, and so the worst actress. I mean,
guess who?
Marianne. No, it was definitely Helen, wasn't it?
Helen, whose accent changed halfway through the film.
Helen, who doesn't know how to look shocked.
Yeah, she had one facial expression and she had a dodgy accent. Well, to be fair, they all had dodgy accents.
Yeah, they all had.
Hers, literally, she was just doing her normal voice, and then all of a sudden she was doing a posh 1930s voice.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, the farmer guy, the landowner or whatever, his accent changed, but only because he was trying to do an accent he couldn't do. And so it was all over the place. But Helen's accent inexcusably changed.
She wasn't doing an accent, and then she was doing an accent. Yeah. Well, attempting an accent.
Yeah. And it just was, it was just really poor. Really poor.
I think the auditions for this film must have gone something like, do you want to be in a film? Yeah, okay. You're in.
Okay, so I think I think that's maybe a question I need to ask you in every single bonus episode now is, how do you think the audition process was? And I'm betting you that most of them are going to be like...
the exact same process.
Exact.
Yeah, that's casting for you.
Mum, you're a casting director. Yeah, can you put me in a movie?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I think maybe that should be one of our categories, casting.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. You also brought up another category that we could throw in.
Yes, I did. Can you remember it?
Can you not?
No,
We've just been talking about it.
have we?
Yeah. Best or worst accent.
Oh yes, accents. Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
we've got to throw that in.
Have that in there.
So we'll have a look at throwing.
There's a lot of questionable accents in the films that we watch.
Yeah, but I think because when we went through the categories that we were going to choose, we were racking our brain at some point, and
we've got it's all under control. We were fine. We've got loads of ideas.
But we do have 13 categories in total, and that will take us up to 15.
15
with those two added in.
As well.
So yeah, that'll take us up to 15, and there'll be a little bit of a weird edit there for everyone, but or I might just keep it in. You never know.
We just had to recover from watching that awful
film. Yeah, and if this feels disjointed, then we've just been...
It's because it is.
Yeah, it's very much is disjointed.
Deal with it, okay.
And yeah, deal with it. Yeah, quite right. But also we've been kind of prompted to be disjointed by the movie we just watched. So yeah, so what's come from that is 2 more categories.
Yes.
And we've talked about the movie again. So we don't need to review it anymore. We don't need to give it any more scores because we know, and you know, that it got 1 star out of 5 from both of us. Like I said, if you do watch it, if you've already seen it perhaps, let us know. Please put some comments in there. And
if you've already seen it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but now you can share the pain with us, I suppose, a little bit. Maybe you're really interested in the story of Borley Rectory, and you thought, oh, let's watch this movie about it, and
maybe you know more facts about it than we do because the research is minimal.
Yeah,
nothing really, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And as Emma said before, if you can think of some bad movies that you would like us to cover in future episodes, please do. We're going to be doing a few more episodes on ghost stories specifically. And then we'll be moving on to a different topic after that, which is yet to be decided. So if you can think of maybe a genre of bad movies that you'd like us to investigate and look into some examples of them,
We
let us
have a
know.
couple in mind, don't we? But
Yeah.
we could do with some more ideas. But
Yeah, we've got a fair few in mind, so you at least have a few episodes out of us before we run dry.
I've got another one at least.
At least another one, at least. But yeah, but no, honestly, I've got a whole list of bad movies that I'm gonna inflict upon you, Emma.
Yeah.
Lucky you, lucky you.
I think I'm busy that day. What day?
Every day.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, and it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Bye.
Bye.